Hello beautiful souls, and welcome back to our channel. We go deep into the world of narcissistic abuse survivors in this thought-provoking video. Join us as we share insights about their different behaviors, discover their incredible resilience, and explore the survival strategies they use to overcome difficult circumstances. Have you ever wondered how the invisible scars of narcissistic abuse shape survivors' behavior? The impact is often overlooked, hidden beneath layers of self-blame, people-pleasing tendencies, and a fear of confrontation. Narcissistic abuse can leave survivors with deep psychological wounds, resulting in unique and sometimes unconventional behaviors. These people may become overactive, always on the alert for possible dangers, and may withdraw into self-isolation as a form of self-protection. Excessive apologizing and a desire of perfection may become their norm because of a deep fear of rejection. Struggling to set and maintain healthy boundaries might become a constant battle. But amidst these challenges, survivors find ways to cope, developing strategies to navigate the aftermath of their traumatic experiences. They may even exhibit heightened empathy, a paradoxical result of their suffering. Understanding these impacts is important for providing compassionate care to survivors. Let us explore the hidden aspects of survival and resilience in the face of manipulation and cruelty. Imagine living in a constant state of alertness, looking for potential threats. Welcome to the reality of hyper-vigilance. This heightened state of awareness is not a lifestyle choice, but a survival mechanism, born out of the necessity to protect oneself from the emotional onslaught of a narcissistic abuser. It's like having an internal alarm system that never switches off, constantly on the lookout for danger, real or perceived. Hypervigilance is an exhausting way to live, a relentless cycle of anticipation and anxiety. It's like walking on a tightrope, where every step requires immense focus, every decision is fraught with apprehension, and every interaction is a potential minefield. The world seems fraught with peril, and the survivor is always bracing for the next blow. Now, let's take a turn towards self-isolation. Imagine a fortress with towering walls and a sturdy gate. Inside this fortress, the survivor seeks refuge from the outside world, retreating into self-imposed solitude. This is not about shunning company or being antisocial. It's about self-preservation. Self-isolation is a protective response, an approach to coping that provides a buffer zone between the survivor and potential sources of distress. However, while this isolation provides temporary relief, it can also lead to loneliness and disconnection. It is a delicate balancing act, a delicate walk between safety and isolation. These behaviors, hypervigilance and self-isolation, are deeply rooted in the survivor's past abuse experiences. They are not quirks or deviations, but survival strategies shaped by a cruel and relentless adversary. The survivor is not being paranoid or withdrawn, but simply trying to navigate a hostile and unforgiving world. In the face of constant fear, survivors build walls around themselves, seeking safety in solitude. But remember, these walls are not permanent. They can be broken down, brick by brick, with patience, understanding, and professional help. And in their place, survivors can build bridges, connecting with others in meaningful and fulfilling ways. Why do some people apologize for everything, even when it's not their fault? Well, imagine living in a world where every misstep, real or perceived, was met with harsh criticism or disproportionate punishment. This is often the reality for those who have suffered narcissistic abuse. Over time, they may develop a habit of over-apologizing, as if they're walking on eggshells, always trying to maintain peace and avoid conflict. Excessive apologizing can become an automatic response, a way of preempting any potential criticism. It's a survival mechanism that originates from a place of fear and vulnerability. It's as if they're saying, "I'm sorry for existing, for taking up space, for not being perfect." Such behavior can be deeply ingrained, making it difficult to unlearn even after the abusive situation has ended. But let's delve deeper. Alongside over-apologizing, perfectionism is another behavior that can emerge from narcissistic abuse. Perfectionism isn't simply about striving for excellence. It's a constant, relentless pursuit of flawlessness, driven by a fear of making mistakes and facing criticism. It's an exhausting cycle, a never-ending chase after an unattainable ideal. Perfectionism in this context is less about achieving high standards and more about avoiding confrontation or disapproval. It's an attempt to regain control in a situation where they once felt powerless. By being perfect, they hope to avoid the ire they once faced. But here's the thing. Perfection is an illusion. It's subjective and ever-changing. And the pursuit of it can lead to stress, burnout, and a never-ending sense of inadequacy. It's a heavy burden to bear, especially for someone already carrying the weight of past abuse. The journey to healing from narcissistic abuse is not easy. It requires recognizing these behaviors for what they are, survival mechanisms that have outlived their usefulness. It's about learning to forgive oneself, to understand that it's okay to make mistakes, and that you don't need to be perfect to be worthy of respect and love. In the pursuit of perfection, survivors strive to avoid the ire they once faced. But remember, it's not the pursuit of perfection, but the journey towards self-acceptance and healing that truly matters. Setting boundaries can be a battlefield for those who have endured narcissistic abuse. This struggle often stems from the tumultuous dynamics of past relationships, where their boundaries were frequently disregarded or violated. Survivors might find it difficult to assert their needs, fearing that doing so would result in conflict or rejection. This can lead to a pattern of self-sacrifice and over-accommodation, which is often mistaken for people-pleasing. But it's important to remember that this behavior is a survival mechanism, honed in an environment where asserting oneself was met with hostility or indifference. Setting healthy boundaries is an essential part of self-care and self-respect. It's about recognizing one's worth and asserting the right to personal space, time, and the freedom to express oneself. It's not about being selfish or unkind. Rather, it's about establishing a sense of safety and autonomy. However, the path to establishing these boundaries is seldom smooth. It requires courage, patience, and often, professional guidance. Therapy, support groups, and self-help resources can provide valuable tools and insights to assist in this journey. Alongside these challenges, survivors develop a variety of coping mechanisms to navigate the aftermath of narcissistic abuse. These strategies can range from mindfulness and meditation, to hobbies and creative outlets, to building supportive social networks. Some survivors might find solace in journaling, using it as a tool to process their experiences and emotions. Others might turn to physical activities, like yoga or running, to manage stress and reconnect with their bodies. Supportive relationships, both professional and personal, can also provide a safe space for survivors to express their feelings and fears without judgment. These coping mechanisms are not just about surviving, they're about thriving. They're about reclaiming control and building a life defined not by the past, but by resilience, growth, and self-compassion. Amid these struggles, survivors find unique ways to cope, navigate, and ultimately, thrive. This resilience is testament to their strength, their courage, and their unwavering determination to heal and reclaim their lives. In the wake of narcissistic abuse, survivors often develop a heightened sense of empathy. It's an intriguing paradox, isn't it? After experiencing a relationship characterized by manipulation and a lack of empathy, survivors often find their own empathy amplified. It's as if the pain endured has sharpened their ability to sense and resonate with the emotions of others. This heightened empathy can be a double-edged sword. On the one hand, it can foster deep connections and understanding. It can be a source of comfort for others, a testament to the survivor's resilience and capacity for compassion. On the other hand, it can be overwhelming, leading to emotional exhaustion and a risk of being further exploited. Navigating this paradox is a delicate balancing act. Survivors must learn to harness their empathy, using it as a tool for connection, while also establishing boundaries to protect their emotional well-being. This is where the process of rebuilding trust comes into play. Trust, once shattered, is not easily restored. Survivors of narcissistic abuse often find themselves wrestling with doubt, both in their judgment of others and in their trust in themselves. The journey towards rebuilding trust is a challenging one, fraught with fears of being deceived or hurt again. Yet, it's an essential step towards healing and recovery. It begins with self-trust, with acknowledging one's worth and learning to rely on one's judgment again. It involves understanding that the abuse was not their fault and that they have the strength to protect themselves from future harm. Then comes the task of trusting others, which is often a slower, more cautious process. It involves gradually opening up to others, testing the waters, and learning to differentiate between healthy and toxic behaviors. Throughout this journey, professional help can be invaluable. Therapists and support groups can provide guidance and reassurance, helping survivors navigate their path towards trust and healing. This journey is not easy, but it's important to remember that every step forward, no matter how small, is a victory. Each moment of trust regained, each boundary established, is a testament to the survivor's resilience and strength. Rebuilding trust is a journey, a challenging but essential step towards healing and recovery. Understanding the behaviors of narcissistic abuse survivors helps us to offer better support and compassion. As we draw our journey to a close, let's take a moment to reflect on the ground we've covered. We've learned about the hyper-vigilance and self-isolation often experienced by survivors. We've explored the tendencies to over-apologize and strive for perfection, the challenges of setting boundaries, and the coping mechanisms that are employed. We've delved into the paradox of heightened empathy and the arduous task of rebuilding trust. Each of these behaviors is a testament to the resilience and strength of survivors, navigating their way through a complex and sometimes confusing world post-abuse. It's important to remember that empathy and understanding are some of the most powerful tools we have. By taking the time to understand these behaviors, we can better support those who have endured narcissistic abuse. In shedding light on the world of survivors, we foster a more compassionate space for those who have faced this deeply distressing experience. Thank you for joining us on this eye-opening journey into the unusual behaviors of narcissistic abuse survivors. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more thought-provoking content. Keep in mind that healing takes time, but you are not alone. Stay strong and keep an eye out for our next video. Take care and see you on our next video.